Hi all, today we are going to discuss on the topic soft skills at workplace. So now we are going to discuss on the topics communication skills, formal communication, informal communication, process, methods, do's and don'ts in communication, presentation skills and active listening. Okay, now let's see what is communication skills. So communication skills, it is the ability that you use when you give and take or give and receive certain different kinds of communication. Now let's see what all things comes under communication. Under communication, there are four main topics, that is listening, speaking, observe and empathizing. Now let's see what are the types of communication. As you all know, there are two types of communication, that is formal and informal. Now what is formal communication? As the word says, formal communication. Formal communication means there will be a predefined channel or routes to convey a message or information to someone. So example, we can say in a meeting, when we present something, when we present minutes in a meeting, there will be a prescribed format to present that. So that is a form of formal communication. So we can give another example like a presentation. In an organization, when we make a presentation, we use the company's logo and the company name, etc. So when we use a particular format or template, that is called a proper channel when you communicating a certain message. Okay, now that is called formal communication. I hope it is clear. Now let's see what is the informal communication. Now under the informal communication, the communication will be like a free flow. There won't be any kind of proper channel or routes to communicate. Like example, if we are seeing, we can say like employees communicating each other without any channels. So examples we can say like gossip, single strand, probability chain or cluster. So now you can understand what is the difference between formal and informal communication. Now let's see what are the methods of communication. We have four methods of communication, that is verbal communication, non-verbal communication, written communication and visual communication. Now let's see what is verbal communication. So verbal communication means it is a communication through spoken words. Okay, it can be either through written or spoken. So when you are communicating some information through oral words or written words, it is called verbal communication. Whereas in non-verbal communication, it is it's a silent communication where we use our body language, hand gestures or eye contact to convey some message. Like example, if I am saying we are communicating something to someone, like in an interview or we are presenting some presentation, we have to convey that message to the audience using our hand gestures and eye contact. Now what is written communication? Now written communication means it is a form of exchanging communication through like a printed paper or letters or numbers or anything it can be. Now visual communication. Now as its name says, visual means the communication is exchanged through photographs, art, drawings, graphs, etc. Now let's see do's and don'ts in communication. Now as we are communicating in our day-to-day life, we know what all should be avoided and what all should be included in a communication, isn't it? So now let's see what should we do in a communication. Okay, so you should be a good listener and stay focused on the person who is speaking. Okay, now we have to maintain eye contact with the person who is speaking. Also we have to say no, but it should be politely and firmly. We have to behave confidently and communicate with a stable and clear voice so that the audience can understand what we are trying to communicate. You have to use simple and polite language. Then you can also use simple lines or simple words which can make the communication more easy and more understandable. Now let's see what are the don'ts in the communication. Okay, now from the word don't itself we can understand that is something which we should avoid in a communication. So the first thing, we have to stop judging people and we have to praise them. Okay, now the second one is don't overcomplicate your message. We should not say too many things so then it gets complicated. Make your communication simple. Now don't criticize in public. So when you communicate with someone, you should not criticize the speaker. If you want to say something, you can say to them privately but not in public. Then you should not shout to them or you should not talk too fast. Okay, because the audience won't be able to understand if you speak too fast. You should not show negative body language. If you show negative body language, it can give a wrong message to the audience. Now let's see the topic presentation skills. Okay, now what is presentation skills? Presentation skills are the skills which you need when you present something. Okay, or when you deliver a presentation, it should be effective and engaging to the audience. So what are the skills you need to deliver a presentation? So there should be certain steps you need to be taken before a presentation. Now let's see what are those steps. First thing is analyze your audience. Okay, first you need to know who your audience is, and according to that, step 2 comes your topic. You have to select your topic according to the audience. Okay, now the third step comes objectives of the presentation. You have to define the objectives of presentation according to the topic. Now the fourth step comes prepare your body for the presentation. Okay, that is the body language. Now the fifth steps comes practice the delivery of presentation before the final delivery. Okay, now I hope this presentation skills are clear to you. Now let's move to the next topic, that is the active listening. So what is active listening? Active listening means when a speaker says something, how do the audience listen to the speaker? So let's see what all things should be included in active listening. Okay, so in active listening, you should include building a trust and establish a rapport. So there should be a rapport between the speaker and the audience. That's the first thing you have to note. Then the second thing, you have to demonstrate a concern. The third point comes paraphrasing to show understanding. So when someone is speaking, we have to show that we are understanding that what he or she is speaking. Now we have to give non-verbal cues to show our understanding what the speaker is saying. Like you can nod your head, or you can lean forward, or you can give a proper eye contact, so the speaker knows that you are actively listening to him or to he or she. Now you can also give verbal words like I see, I know, I understand, sure, thank you, etc. So now you understand what is active listening, isn't it? Now let's see what are the steps in active listening. So first step is approach each dialogue with the goal to learn something. Step 2 is stop talking to someone and closely focus on the speaker. Okay, and the third one comes open and guide the conversation. That is, you have to be always open with the speaker and you have to be guided with the conversation, so that the speaker also knows you are also listening to he or she. Now you have to understand the details what you are listening. Step 5, summarize what you hear and ask question to the speaker. Now step 6, encourage with positive feedback. So when you give positive feedback, it is a kind of motivation to the speaker also. So they are also motivated to speak more. Now step 7 is listen for meaning. So when you listen something, you have to listen to understand what the topic is. Simply listening, it doesn't mean active listening. So we have to listen to understand that particular topic what the speaker is trying to communicate. Now the last step is pay attention to responses. So I hope this steps in active listening is clear to all of you. Thank you.